Okay, what we're going to have a look at now then is just the basic drawing tools, the basic shapes and the pencil and paintbrush tool. Okay, so over on this left hand side in the toolbar there's various different versions of this particular shape tool, rectangle or oval. We'll just concentrate on those two for now. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool. I'll go and have a look over at the properties for it over on this right hand side. So all the shapes that you make in Flash can have a stroke, which is the outline, and a fill, which is the colour that fills the shape. And they're signalled by a little pencil for the outline and a paint bucket for the fill. If I want to change these colours, then I can click on here and I can pick a different colour. We've also got some gradient colours as well. I can choose the alpha, I can turn that down so it's transparent. I can remove the stroke altogether so there is no stroke or fill just by clicking on here, just to show you when you've got no stroke or no fill, then you'll see a white rectangle with a red line going through it like that. You've also got a colour wheel where you can select various different colours from, like this, different colour sliders, so you can turn up and down colours. A spectrum and some crayons. Okay, whatever you choose out of any of these, then you just press OK, and that becomes the colour that you've chosen. Exactly the same in here for your fill colour, and that's the same over on the left hand side here in the in your colour picker, which might be a bit more familiar to you if you've used Photoshop before. But there you can see stroke colour with a pencil, fill colour with a paint bucket. You can also reset these to black and white, and you can flip these colours round as well. I'm not going to reset that to black and white because I want black and red. Back over in the properties, your stroke you can change the thickness of and say whether it's solid or any of these other forms. And looking down here, you've got the end and the joins for your strokes, how they look as well. Okay, so let's just make a basic shape. Here's a rectangle. If I hold down Shift, then it stays square, and you can see thick line, which is set to 5.8 pixels, and a nice red colour in the centre. So if I just select this box, I'll go and use the selection tool, and if I just click once inside the box, you can see that the centre is highlighted, the fill. Okay, looking over here, you can see in the properties it's a shape. The stroke is greyed out, there's nothing there, but the fill is red. So with this selected, I can go and change it to something else like that. What I have missed though is this outline around it. So if I double click, or if I click and drag over, then you can see that it selects both the stroke around the outside and the fill in the middle, and you can see that here as well. So I can change the colour of the stroke, I can change the size of it in here as well, and any of these other things if I wanted to. Let's get that back to that. Okay, so these two things are separate. Okay, I can drag one out of the other. Let's just undo that. Also, these lines are separate. So I'm just clicking and dragging these things away. Okay, so they're all separate parts. So let's just undo all of that, get it back to as it was. What's also happening, you can see when I move my cursor close to these lines, I get a little curvy line at the bottom right of my selection tool, and if I go to the corners, then I get a little right angle. That means that I can modify my shape. So if I just click and drag, and then I can bend that out like that, and bend that like that, can also get hold of these corners, do that kind of thing with it. Okay, so that's the center shape now, it's changed. What you can also do, you can select over parts, like I've just done, and break this into separate sections. So let's just undo all of that. And the same goes for any of these other versions as well. Okay, so let's just clear that and have a look at the pencil. So the pencil, that again is set to having a black stroke. We've got this green fill still, so let's try and draw a shape and see what happens. Whoa, look at that. Okay, can we draw a circle? There we go, look. So what's happening here is that there's a setting down here at the bottom of the toolbar for the pencil mode. Okay, we've got straighten, smooth, and we've got a freestyle one, which is an ink. So if I put this onto smooth, I'm more likely to get the actual shape that I've drawn. If I try and draw a square, it doesn't do what it was doing when it was set to straighten. Okay, and when it's ink, then pretty much as you've just scribbled it on the page. But you'll notice that there's no fill. Okay, so if we want to fill these things in, then maybe we have to go and use the paint bucket. Paintbrush kind of works in a similar sort of way. We can paint using the fill colour, and over here we've got some different shapes, and here we've got some different sizes. Let's just clear all of that off. Select all and delete. Okay. Let's just select that and have a look at it in the properties. So over here we've got the position and the size of it. There's not many other options available to us apart from the colour. If we have a look at that with the pencil, some wiggly line, let's go and select that with the selection tool. So I double clicked on it or select over it like that. You can see there I have the stroke colour, position and the size, but I've also got the stroke size. So I can change that here, and I can also play about with these options as well. Some of them you can't see because the thickness of the line. Let's have a look at dotted. Can you see that one? Yeah, there we go. Okay. You can have a go with the rubber eraser tool as well to try and clear things out. So it's basically a nice drawing package. Because it's vector based, it's clearly not getting rid of absolutely everything and drawing in these other little bits. The last part of the drawing tools that we'll have a look at is the pen tool. Okay, so here's the basic pen tool, and with this we've got the stroke set to black and the fill set to red. With this we can click and move the mouse to add points around to make this shape. Okay, let's get rid of that dotted and change that. No, it's not changing because I need to select it. There we go. Solid. That's 2. There we go. Okay, so we've now got this shape. When we were going clicking round, I'm just clicking once and moving the mouse, clicking again, moving the mouse, clicking again and moving the mouse. I'll just zoom in here. Ignore that menu. What's happening here, you can see there's a small circle at the bottom right hand side of the pen tool. That means that it's going to finish off this shape. It's going to join this point to that point to make it complete. Okay. What I can also now do, I can select that shape, mess about with it in the same way that I just showed you, changing these things like that. If I use this subselection tool, the arrow with a white head, then I can just pick on particular corners, points, and move those about. I can pick up more than one, I can pick up two, move them around like that. What I can also do, if I have a look inside my pen tool, there's a couple of different options. We can add anchor points, take anchor points away, and convert these anchor points into something else. So let's just have a look at adding. So let's just zoom in on this rectangle. So if I want to add some more points, then I can just go and click along on the line, and you can see hopefully that it's adding little anchor points as we go along here. And then I can go back and use this subselection tool, and if I want to change what's happening here, I can pull that in. Okay, and move that one. Select that one like that. Okay, and I can select a couple of them and move them around like that. I can take them away, so I can use the delete anchor point tool. And get rid of that one. Okay. What I can also do is, using this convert anchor point tool, I can change these into corners that are smooth like that. So these get these handles on them, which I can then pull around to create different sorts of shapes. So combining the subselection tool with the convert anchor point tool, add and delete anchor point tool, you can make quite complex shapes. And then obviously if you want to fill, just go and fill it in.